Hello, my name is Shamil Aman bin Zladin. My student ID is 202309010371. I'm currently taking Bachelor of Business Administration.
My name is Olani Amwanwei. My ID is 2023090104001 from Bachelor of Accounting.
My name is Abdulrahman Faduma Abdul Qadir. My ID number is 202211010078. I am BBA student, Bachelor of Business Administration.
My name is Noresha Wardia binti Muhammad Rafi. My student ID is 202301020016. I'm currently taking Bachelor in Accounting.
My name is Nurhazik Hakimi bin Muhammad Najib. My student ID 202309010586.
My name is Markiana Albanus. My student ID is 202301020004. I'm taking Bachelor of Accounting.
All countries, to a certain degree, experience issues of unemployment, working poor, and job quality and technological and labor market shifts that bring new opportunities, especially to youth and the skilled, and basically intensive risk and uncertainty. In the international level, the youth unemployment has been constantly at 13%, a figure that is 3 times higher than that adults who are 25 and above. Southeast Asia and the Pacific nations, with youth unemployment averaging 12%, fare a little better in absolute terms but worse in relative terms. The level of youth unemployment is nearly 6 times the number of adults at 21%. It is to say that, like the regional pattern, Malaysia had youth unemployment of 10.5% in 2019, that is over 6 times the rate of adults at 1.7%. Furthermore, youth unemployment rate has been increasing as the ratio to the overall national average over the decade. Over the past recessions, years have materially fared worse in terms of job losses, experiencing higher jumps in unemployment rates after the recessions of 1985 until 1986, 1997 until 1998, and 2008 until 2009. Using evidence from previous shocks and analyzing disparities in employment by age, it is projected that young people will suffer the consequences of COVID-19 pandemic recessions more than others. This perspective, the first of two about employment situation of youth in Malaysia, explain that patterns of labor force participation and unemployment to give snapshots of variety of aspects of youth's initial employment and the results of their attempts to find work, career, and income. Here, the labor force participation stands for the work ethos, which identifies the population willingness to look for jobs. A higher labor force participation point to the number of young persons may indicate the decision to drop out of the secondary schools and to avoid post-secondary schools education. Unemployment points out the regional potentials and performance of the economy and the gaps between the available labor force and available jobs. Youths are always jobless, often higher than that for adults. This due to several are often fresh from school or have recently joined the labor market. Self-efficiency in reaching out to others experts will be higher in the samples adults due to more experiencing and connections. However, it will be expected that the differences in the youth's unemployment to that adults and changes occurring over a period are issues of concern.
There are two concerns that cause the problem of teenage unemployment, which is skill issues and educational standard problems. First factor of teenage unemployment is lack of skills. Unemployment among the younger is higher than the adults because adults are more experienced and networks, while teenagers are mostly new to the labor market and they doesn't have a lot of work experience. Research in Malaysia has also focused on the differences between both genders when it comes to labor participations. In Malaysia, women have more formal qualification and are more likely to be employed than men. However, women have higher unemployment rates, and it believed that women bear family-specific roles, domestic responsibilities, and community commitments are the main reasons for women not being in the labor force. Another factor that contributes to the issues of youth unemployment is geography and ethnicity. The youth unemployment rates in different regions of Malaysia are depending, which adds to the challenge the country labor market faces. And due to its high teenage labor force participation rates, it can cause consistently high unemployment rate.
This analysis explores the effects of COVID-19 and the structural factors that impact youth unemployment in Malaysia. Education. Education is an important factor in work outcomes. In Malaysia, 45% of young Malaysians possess tertiary qualifications, but compared to other educational levels, the unemployment rate for graduates is greater. People with a secondary education make up the majority of Malaysia's labor. Labor force participation. The marginal increase in labor force among younger ages 15 to 24 provides a contrasting image. Nevertheless, these young people working full-time jobs may be giving up their chance to further their education. Long-term effects of this tendency may include a workforce that is less educated and less ready for employment, requiring greater skill levels in the future. This chart shows the labor force participation by age and gender. Unemployment. It states that overall, the unemployment rates for men and women are comparable, except for young people aged 20 to 24, where there is a clear gender differences that favors men. Malaysia's labor force is geographically primarily urban, somewhat outpacing the country's rate of urbanization. This chart shows the unemployment rate broken down by region, gender, and age. COVID-19 implications. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused an economic crisis that has affected jobs in Malaysia. There are many few career options for young people as a result of the economic climate and the emphasis on keeping experienced workers during the crisis. COVID-19 particularly impacted recent graduates as they entered the labor market. This chart indicates the implications of COVID-19.
Young people in Malaysia aged 15 to 24 are increasingly joining the workforce, raising concerns about the implications of this trend, especially regarding education and long-term prospects. The first finding is increased labor force interaction. Youth interaction in the labor force has increased over the past 10 years, with many young people, especially in Sabah, opting to work rather than complete their education. For example, 2019 survey showed that over 30% of 16 years old in Sabah had left school early to take up jobs in local plantations. Next, in Sabah, the state's high poverty rate influenced 15 to 19 years old to prioritize work over education, a trend that could negatively impact their long-term prospect. For example, a 17 years old in Sabah dropped out of school to help her family financially by working as a cashier, potentially limiting her future career opportunities. The last finding is impact on COVID-19, which has increased job market discrimination against young people, with the economic crisis disproportionately affecting youth, making job retention and finding new employment difficult. For example, a 22 years old fresh graduate struggled to secure a job for over a year as many companies prefer retaining experienced employees over hiring a new ones. The discussions. Economic shutdown impact. The Movement Control Order, which is the MCO, significantly disrupted the economy starting March 18 with targeted limitation after May 4, disrupting education programs and posing severe challenge for the 2020 graduation class. For example, many final year university students had their internship cancelled, delaying their entry into the job market. Government response. The Prihatin Relief Package and Penjana Economic Recovery Plan were introduced to offer social help, but despite this effort, uncertainty remains for young people entering the workforce. For example, while the Prihatin package provided financial aid, many young job seekers found it insufficient to cover their living expenses during the prolonged job search. The last discussions is about the employment prospect. The recovery phase tends to favor rehiring experienced staff, disadvantaging recent graduates and school dropouts, with increased youth unemployment expected, especially among Bumiputra communities, women, and metropolitan residents. For example, a study found that fresh graduates in Kuala Lumpur face a 20% higher unemployment rate compared to the previous year. In conclusion, immediate action is needed to support young workers and address the long-term effects of the pandemic on their job prospects. Comprehensive reforms are essential to create a resilient economy that fully leverages to the potential of Malaysia's youth.
What are the best way to deal with the unemployment in Malaysia? The COVID-19 pandemic has had a significant impact on the youth unemployment in Malaysia, especially after the announcement of the Government Movement Control or MCO in 2020. Major factors contributing to the increase included disruption in education, gender inequality, and locality issues. the MCO, caused academic disruption, particularly affecting the graduating class of 2020, leading to poor academic performance. Employers choosing experienced candidates with higher education levels have neglected new graduates, increasing youth unemployment. So in addition, companies intend to reduce costs during the MCO by retaining senior workers, causing many young workers during the MCO to be late. This scenario causes many young individuals to accept jobs outside their field of study due to skill mismatch and declining quality of education. To address this issue, the Malaysian government has implemented a technical and vocational education and training or TVET policy, which focus on equipping participants with practical skills for various trades and professions. This program aims to produce graduates who are ready to work and able to deal with the challenges of the workforce. TVET programs not only provide practical experience but also increase students' self-esteem and prepare them for the workforce. In addition, the government also has initiated a job placement program such as the One Malaysia Training Scheme or SLIM, targeting unemployed graduates who from low-income or rural areas. So the program offers on-the-job training, soft skills training to improving participants' employability. In addition, the government also can introduce the employment incentive for young workers to encourage employers to hire them and reducing the financial burden on both employers and employees. Finally, the COVID-19 pandemic has worsened youth unemployment, requiring a comprehensive strategy from the Malaysian government. So by focusing on education, skills development, job creation and social protection, the government can foster economic growth and create a sustainable job market for youth people.
The problem of youth unemployment in Malaysia is a problematic and elaborate issue that necessitates comprehensive measures to be taken. The study underscores the significance of schooling, chances of participating in the labor market, ratio of those unemployed, and labor market's responsiveness to the COVID-19 pandemic. To address this problem, the government must concentrate on learning process and skills improvement, initiative for children, employment-generating programs by fostering entrepreneurship as well as social safety nets, along with motivating strategies for employers to get them engaged in a younger population. Consequently, by taking into considerations all possible aspects, it can lead to sustainable economic development, thus fostering a job-friendly environment for the youth while reducing the level of youth unemployment rates in Malaysia.